Hello students. In this video lecture, I am going to discuss about the photosynthesis and cell respiration. Basically, the photosynthesis is the entrapment of energy and the cell respiration is the release of that energy. The photosynthesis is occurred in case of green plants or autotrophs. They are autotrophs, and the cell respiration is occurred inside the mitochondria that is present in all cells. Basically, the photosynthesis, during photosynthesis the glucose is produced as the end material, which traps the ATP or energy, and these glucose is broken down into some small particles, which is during the cellular respiration, and during this process ATP is released as the energy. So the photosynthesis is the energy captured by chloroplast, and the energy of sunlight is entrapped inside the chloroplast. This is the structure of chloroplast I am showing here, and the process of energy entrapment occurred in the thylakoids of the chloroplast. And chloroplast contains the pigments known as chlorophylls, and there are several types of chlorophylls A, B, and there are C, also some xanthophylls, and carotenoids are there. These all pigments together traps the sunlight, and during this type of entrapment only the uh, red and blue lights are entrapped of the spectrum. This is the spectra of visible light I have shown here, and these spectra, the blue light and red light, are entrapped inside the by the chlorophylls, and during these entrapments the electrons are excited, and the light energy when the light energy is absorbed, and this excitement of electrons electrons results in the results in the movement of these electrons into the higher energy level, and this higher energy is entrapped within the chloroplast. And during this energy entrapment the electrons flows, and these electrons flows through the electron transport chain, which is basically used for the ATP generation. So here the spectras are shown, and you can see the blue lights and the red lights, these two zones, the absorbance of energy is maximum, and from this picture we can easily have some idea that only the blue and red light of the spectra have the role in photosynthesis. So during photosynthesis the hydrogen the water is split by sunlight, and during this split of hydrogen the electrons are produced. These electrons are used to replace the ones excited and then lost by the pigments, and the oxygen is released as a waste product, although the plant will use some of it for their own cellular respiration. And by this production of oxygen we the heterotrophic organisms can inhale this oxygen for our respiration purpose. The light energy is converted into chemical energy in the thylakoids. Basically, the excited electrons enters a series of electron acceptors called, and this is called the electron transport chain. And as they are transferred down this chain, they lose energy. But this energy is used to pump the protons across the thylakoid membrane, creating an energy gradient. And this type of gradient, when generates, the ATP and NADPH are produced, and these proton flows back in, they pass through the ATP synthase enzyme, which catalyze the reaction to production of ATP and NADPH from ADP and NADP. And these phosphate group and the phosphate group, when attached with the ADP, the ATP will produce. Also the protons, when they attach with the NADPH, the NADP plus the NADPH will be produced. In case of Kelvin cycle, they do not require any light, but during the light step, uh, this this is the light requiring step where, or light reaction, where the energy is entrapped, and in the dark reaction or the Kelvin cycle, the carbon fixation occurs. Basically, the carbon fixation occurs in the form of glucose. Here the entrapment of energy is also the energy is entrapped. Also the carbon dioxide combines with the RUBP, forms the glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate or phosphoglyceraldehyde. This is the first step of the carbon fixation, and this 3 carbon glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate carbon element compound glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate can be converted into glucose, sucrose, starch and other organic molecules, and this is known as the carbon fixation. Basically, this is the Kelvin cycle depicted here, where the three carbon dioxide entrapped into the phosphoglyceric acid or glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate, and these glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate is converted into RUBP, and from there the glucose, the 6 carbon compound glucose, sucrose, starch, these are all produced. The glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate can be used as the building block for glucose, but also it can be used for the building block of other carbohydrates, amino acids and lipids. This is the summary of equation where carbon dioxide with the help of water in presence of sunlight produce the organic carbohydrate and release of oxygen. All plants use this Kelvin cycle, but there are some plants, those fix the carbons in the form of four carbon compounds. These plants are known as C4 plants, and where the 3 carbon compounds like disulfide 3 phosphate is fixed as the carbon fixation, these plants are known as C3 plants. Basically, there are number of C3 plants is much more higher, but there are some C4 plants also known as corn, sugarcane. These are all C4 plants where the 4 carbon sugar are the first products. And as well as there are another type of plants known as CAM plants, or the crassulacean acid metabolite plants. These plants basically produce the crassulacean acids, and they are cacti or pineapples. In these plants, they are specialized plants where the carbon fixation acquired at night, and these carbons are available for the plants when the light is available. So we have now we have the ATP, or the energy that is trapped inside the plants. Now what happens with these ATPs? ATPs are adenosine triphosphate, and this is the structure. The ATP is broken down into ADP and the inorganic phosphate, which releases the energy. Basically, this is the process by which the organism took their energy. The cycle is so efficient that a working muscle cell recycle all of their ATP in 1 minute, and as well as these ATP cannot be recycled. But when these ATP is bind with the inorganic phosphate again with the help of some chemicals enzymes, and they will form again the ATP as well. And in case of glucose breakdown, this type of ATP can be generated. What happens with the glucose? We have seen that during photosynthesis glucose is produced, and now this glucose is acting as the material for the energy production. So what happens during the energy production? The glucose is broken down in two steps. One is glycolysis, where the glucose is broken down from 6 carbon sugar to 3 carbon compound known as pyruvate, and there is a net gain of 2 ATP and 2 NADH molecules, and these ATP and NADH are used as the energy producing molecules. So glycolysis do not require any type of oxygen, and here I am giving the flow chart of the glycolysis, where you can see there is a ATP requirement process where the glucose is converted into glucose 6 phosphate, and after that this glucose 6 phosphate is converted into fructose 6 phosphate, where after this fructose 6 phosphate is converted into fructose 1,6 biphosphate, and there is a step where ATP is required. But when this fructose 6-phosphate is splitted into two 3-carbon compounds known as dihydroxyacetone phosphate and glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate, these two molecules can be converted one into another in the form of the bidirectional reaction. And during this process, the ATP is produced. ATP is produced, and also the NADH is produced from the NAD plus, where you can see these two NAD molecules are produced and also two ATP molecules are produced during glycolysis. And after glycolysis, the pyruvate, this is the pyruvate which is produced as the 3-carbon compound, is now used for the further ATP production. And these can be obtained by two processes. One is anaerobic process, another one is aerobic respiration. The anaerobic process called the fermentation, and aerobic cellular respiration where the oxygen is required. The anaerobic respiration is known as fermentation. During fermentation, the pyruvate is converted into lactic acid, acetic acid, ethanol, and carbon dioxide. This process can be utilized by some yeast and some bacteria. In case of in the presence of oxygen, the pyruvate has the ability to perform the cellular respiration, and then the pyruvate enters into the aerobic respiration. The pyruvate moves into the mitochondria and enters into the mitochondrial matrix, where there is a this is the mitochondrial shown here, where the chemistry are there. These chemistry are used for the ATP production. And after that, in the matrix, the 3-carbon pyruvate reacts with the coenzyme A molecules, and acetyl CoA forms. This acetyl CoA enters into the Krebs cycle to produce further NADH or ATP. This is the Krebs cycle, where acetyl CoA enters into the Krebs cycle, and after several steps, we can see that NADH is produced at 1, 2, 3 steps, and FADH2 also produced, also the GTP. These all molecules, NADH, GTP, and FADH2, are equivalent to the ATP. The net result is one turn of the cycle produce 3 NADH module, 1 GTP module, and 1 FADH2 modules, and all releases the energy. Also, the carbon dioxide released, we all know that during respiration oxygen is intaken and carbon dioxide is released. So here the carbon dioxide is released. The GTP works like ATP, and some NADH or FADH2 also works like ATP, and they are produced here. Basically, 2 carbons are given off as CO2, and remaining 4 carbons are recycled as the oxaloacetic acid in the cycle. And these oxaloacetate further combines with the acetyl CoA to combine to form the 6-carbon compound known as citric acid. And this cycle continues. So now come the electron transport chain. All those NADH and FADH2 molecule produced from the first 3 steps are hydrogen carriers. You can see there is the hydrogen attached, so they are acting as the hydrogen carrier. And these hydrogens are split into the hydrogen ion and electrons. The electrons are passed along the series of electron acceptors into the inner membrane of mitochondria, and this regenerates the NAD and FADH plus. And the final electron acceptor is oxygen. This is the electron transport chain, which is shown here, where the oxygen is the first last electron acceptor is shown here. And during this process, ATPs are produced. This is the total process of electron transport chain is depicted here, where the 1, 2, 3, 4 complexes with the cytochrome C is there. They are all used for the electron transport chain, and ultimately the electron is accepted by the 2 protons and one oxygen atom to form the water. And this all this reaction happens inside the inner mitochondrial membrane. The sorry And this is the hydrogen. As the proton is pumped outside, there is a proton gradient. The inner intermembrane space are rich in hydrogen ion, and these gradient is used for the production of ATP. When there is a higher gradient of protons out in the intermembrane space, these hydrogen ions are enters into the mitochondrial matrix through the help of proton pump. And these proton pumps, when these protons are entered into the into the matrix of mitochondria, the ADP is converted into ATP, and this is the energy production. And thus the energy is produced inside the mitochondria. Mitochondria is called as the energy house of cell. So this is the total summary formula, where the glucose in the presence of oxygen produce carbon dioxide and water with some energy, and this energy is used for our cellular function. So students, this is in this class I have described the process how the energy is entrapped in case of in plants, and from these energy entrapment the glucose is formed, and this glucose is broken down to form the energy again. This energy is known as the chemical energy, which is required for our body movement or body function. There are some cells, those are strictly aerobic. The example is the nervous tissue and the another human tissue. Those are all strictly aerobic. And there are some cells, those are strictly anaerobic. Some bacteria are the examples. And also there are some cells, they can switch back and forth from the aerobic to anaerobic condition. There are some bacteria, or in case of muscle cells, when the muscles are working for a long time, these muscle cells produce lactic acid, where the um, anaerobic respiration happens. And when the muscles are in the rest, the lactic acid is broken down, and the muscle again can utilize oxygen for the aerobic respiration. So students, please go through this slide, and if you have any question, you can ask me later. Thank you.